All right, and smile. All right, cool. Here, take a look. Oh yeah, that is nice. Can you give me a copy? Yeah, sure, I'll send it to you on Facebook. Oh no, I don't have Facebook, I deleted that. Oh yeah, no, that's probably a good idea. I'll text message to you. No, I don't have a cell phone. Oh, yeah, I'll email it to you then. No, I don't have a computer. Wait, what? Really? How about I go home and print out a copy?
No, I want a copy now.
Oh, okay, geez, here, take it. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Has this ever happened to you? I know I've lost thousands of dollars worth of phones this way. What you need is a portable photo printer. Let's check it out. Hey, it's John from Adults Have Toys Too. Today we're looking at something that I promised to talk about before, but we're finally going to take a closer look at. Portable photo printers. See? It pays to subscribe. Not long ago, I took a photo trip to the LA Zoo. You can check out that video here. The purpose of that trip was to try out my new Fujifilm X-T4 in a real-life environment. But after I got back, there was something that really surprised me. That was how much I enjoyed actually printing out the photos and having a physical copy. There's something special about having a copy of your photo that you could physically share, especially in a world where the most common way of sharing things is on your phone screen or on Facebook. There's an added benefit in having to be selective in the photos you choose to print. It really makes you consider what are truly your best shots. Nobody really wants to scroll through 500 photos of the pictures you took last weekend, or wait 5 minutes for you to find that one photo you really like. Portable photo printers take that shareability to the next level. With a device that fits in your bag or in your pocket, you can make an instant shareable memory right there on the spot with that intimate, personal touch. Here are 3 portable photo printers that each use very different methods of making that digital image into your prized physical print. We'll go into the quality of the print in a moment, but first, a quick rundown. And be sure to stick around to the end for an additional bonus printer and print. First up is actually a printer and camera in one. This is the Polaroid Snap Touch. This color photo printer uses Zink inkless photo paper. The magic here happens in the paper. A heated print head moves across the paper, and depending on the level of heat and the time in contact with the paper, will cause the yellow, cyan, and magenta dye crystals to melt and re-solidify in different ratios, resulting in a color print. Think like a thermal receipt printer, but a bit more complicated. The small borderless prints are immediately dry and have the added bonus of having a peel-off sticky back. The papers come in packs of 10 with a blue calibration card. There are different brands of Zink papers, and they're all produced by the same company, but I've noticed there's a different quality of print for some reason. I found the Canon brand for the IV cameras and printers that looks the best to me. But you need to keep the Polaroid calibration card to allow the Snap Touch to use it. While I suppose there's convenience in having the camera built into the printer, the camera in any halfway decent smartphone will blow this thing out of the water. The printer allows you to install an app onto your phone, which is pretty easy to navigate, easier than it is to navigate on the back screen of the camera itself. Even though this thing's pretty old now, Polaroid still seems to care about it. It just recently got a firmware update before I started filming, completely overhauled the camera interface. Next up is something that on the face of it seems very similar, but the underlying tech is a world apart. This is the Fujifilm Instax Mini Link. It prints photos very close in size to the Polaroid, but the prints are actually on photographic film. Think old Polaroid photos. In fact, this film originated in the Fujifilm Instax line of instant photo cameras. They're completely analog cameras using just a lens to shine light on the back of the film, causing a color photo. You can check out my video of the Instax Mini 11 here for a deeper dive into the camera. This photo printer works by having an array of 600 color RGB OLEDs that shine light on the back of the film, as rollers pull the film through and spread the developing chemicals. This is the fastest printing of the bunch as far as getting the photo into your hand, but the slowest as far as having a completed photo, as it takes about 90 seconds for the photo to develop and maybe another hour or so for the contrast to really pop. This also prints from a smartphone app, which has a lot of fun features. There's also a square version of this photo printer that prints out on the square film. If you'd like to see a comparison between these printers later in the future, let me know in the comments below. The last of the bunch is the largest, least portable, but most versatile. This is the Canon Selphy CP1300. This uses yet another technology called dye sublimation. Inside of the printer is a roller with a long plastic sheet. On the sheet, there's a 4x6 area embedded with yellow dye, then another area with magenta dye, and then yet another area with cyan dye. And finally, there's a clear section. As the printer paper passes by the plastic sheet, a hot print head vaporizes the dye onto the paper, one color at a time. Finally, a clear protective coating is applied. The printer can even add a texture to the clear coating to make the photos less glossy. The printer is much larger than the other two, and you have to attach a paper tray to the front before you can do any printing. On top of accounting for the size, you also have to make sure there's enough clearance behind the printer to allow for the paper to move in and out. The battery is an optional extra, and it seems to drain pretty fast while the printer's not in use, so portability isn't a strong suit, but there are some serious upsides. At a very similar price point to the other two printers, the prints are both larger and cheaper per print. And if you really need smaller photos, you can always print out multiple photos to a sheet and cut them out. One other big advantage is while the printer has an app like the other two, it also presents to your Wi-Fi network as a printer. This means you can print not only from your phone, but also directly from your PC or Mac as well. None of these three printers use any sort of liquid ink. So this means you can store them for months and they'll bounce back just like you had never left them. That's a quick overview of the hardware. So what does the end result look like? I took a variety of images and printed one copy of each on each printer. I'll show you the original digital file and then each of the prints. After that, we'll take a walk and see how easy it is to take a selfie and print a photo out on the go. Stick around for that special guest camera and printer. First is the common car selfie. Here we have both dark and light areas along with skin tones to deal with. On the left is the Polaroid. Everything is very muted, though the colors are not that far off. The tones are very uneven across the photo though, and the blacks are pretty gray. In the middle is the Fujifilm with the marble frame. This is much warmer, and the dynamic range isn't that great with the blown out highlights and the crushed blacks, but has a film-like charm which I quite like. On the right is the Canon, which is sharp and seems to accurately represent the digital file, though the mask color is a bit bright. Next is a photo I took at the zoo with a very flat tone. The Polaroid seems to really warm this image up, and again makes it pretty muddy, but it seems to work for this photo. The Fujifilm doesn't do very well here, losing some sharpness and range. The Canon again does very well, but overall has a cooler tone. Here's a landscape I took in Ireland a few years back. The foreground is very bright and gives way to the shadows of the clouds in the back. I feel the Polaroid here does well, but flattens everything out. And in person it feels uneven. The Fuji, while not accurate, I think is really pleasing. The highlights pop and the shadows become deeper without becoming crushed. The Canon has some nice dynamic range and colors, good enough to be unremarkable. Paper Mario is here to show how these printers handle solid color blocks. The Polaroid is actually really fun with this. As typical, the colors become more muted, but it's a fun little sticker. The Fuji is way out of its element here and becomes very soft, but it's a unique look. The Canon is bright and might as well be the digital file. Last is if you needed to print a document and all you had was one of these photo printers. I know, we've all been there. The little Polaroid print is doing surprisingly well with how legible it is at such a small size, and shows the print head is pretty sharp overall. The Fujifilm here is barely legible, which explains the softness in the other photos. The Canon did worse than I expected as far as sharpness goes, but it did well with the black considering it's putting down one color at a time. So here we are at the park to take a look at how easy some of these printers are to be able to take a picture and spontaneously give somebody a print. So I'm going to take a selfie with my phone and print out a copy. Let's see how easy it is, starting with the Polaroid Snap Touch. So the Polaroid we're going to use like any other Zink printer. We're not going to use it as a camera. So we're going to pull out my phone, take a nice subject, and then we're going to take this picture and send it over to the printer. First, we'll turn on the printer, which will pop up the flash as if I was using this like a camera, powers up the printer. Then I go to the Polaroid app in my phone.
5 minutes later.
All right, I had some technical difficulties with the Polaroid out here, but I guess luckily it has got a backup. Take a picture of myself here, Then we'll print the picture we took on the Polaroid out here in the field. One selfie, ready to go. So I've actually got a lot more faith in the Instax Mini I have here. The Mini app will let you take a photo straight from the app and print to the printer. So as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and pick Instax Camera, and of course, get a good subject, press the button on the printer, and I just took a photo. And if I like what I see, I can hit print. Off it goes. And there's your print on the go. Fastest printing, but of course it's going to take a little while for that to develop. I'll show you the end result inside. So I'm sitting down for the next one because while it's portable, you need to bring a bag to bring your printer and to bring your printer paper. This is the Canon Selphy, and while it does the best prints of the bunch, there's a bit more you need to do to get it to work. Now you might not mind carrying this thing around because the prints that come out of this thing are spectacular. The experience of using it out here, out at a park, would be take your picture, go into your Canon Selphy app, and go ahead and print. This will actually create its own Wi-Fi network with the printer, and off it goes. Selfie printed and ready to go. And then for the bonus portable photo printer, the Game Boy printer, which of course is paired with the Game Boy camera. This was my first way of ever being able to take a picture and print it out on the go. So the experience of shooting from the Game Boy camera and printing on the Game Boy printer is fairly modern, except I already tried shooting this and completely forgot I need a wire. Yeah, wireless wasn't a thing back then. But the Game Boy camera does have a front-facing and rear-facing camera. All you need to do is point it at yourself, take your picture, and then we move on over to the view mode. Open up your album, go to that beautiful picture you just took, choose print, and it's transferring. And there we are. Now, I won't argue this is the highest quality of the bunch, but you can't deny there's a certain charm there. So here's the end result of the selfie test. While having a camera saved the day as far as getting a photo with the Polaroid, you can see that the results aren't great. The Fuji makes a fun retro-looking image with that retro feel of waiting for the picture to develop. The Canon is the best looking in a technical sense, pretty much looking like you went to CVS to get your photo developed, but I think I still prefer the Fuji for this kind of scenario. And of course, the best of all is the Game Boy printer. Need I say more? Are you looking for a portable photo printer? Let me know in the comments below which one you think would meet your needs best. But until next time, never stop having fun.